Hi, welcome to ODE YouTube channel. I'm going to review today a pen that is a Chinese one and made by Jinhao. So let's go for it, and let me just ask you before of it, if you like the content of my channel, please subscribe our channel to receive the notifications of every video we post. We really appreciate that. So let's take a look at this pen. And which pen is this? This pen is the Jinhao 911 Steel. This pen is an interesting pen that was given to me, and I think that has a lot of value because it's always fun to see people giving things to other people without expecting anything in return. It was given to me by Luis in a meeting of pen users in Lisbon. So it was a very nice gesture, and it was a chance for reviewing this pen. So as I told you, this is Jinhao 911 Steel, and it is a quite simple pen, very slim and made of steel, which gives it some weight, but it's not a very heavy pen because it's quite small. So on the top of the cap it has this conical jewel made of steel or aluminum, the same thing on the bottom of the barrel. Then it has these cylindrical tapering down shape in both ends. The clip is thin and long. It's not perfectly aligned with it's not perfectly vertical if you look like this, and it works quite fine. Also, on the cap lip it has engravings that say Jinhao 911. Then the pen uncaps by pulling the cap, and we have a black section with a hooded nib that reminds us the Parker 51, so it's the same kind of style. There is this very fine hooded nib, and then you unscrew the barrel, you have metal threads, and you have a converter. And this converter by Jinhao is international size, so which is nice. You can use with international ink cartridges or any other international converter that you like. They are really widely available. So the pen, I must say, it is quite nice. It reminds us of the Parker 51, and I think it is fair to compare it, just at least in size, with another Jinhao, and this is Jinhao 51A, which is also a hooded pen. That is a little shorter, but it is more girthier. As you can see, it has a more diameter, and it is a nice pen. It is more like Parker 51. And also the hood or the section is shorter but fatter. So this is another pen by Jinhao. Now let's go for some size comparison with the Parker Dufold. It is the same length, and the Lamy Polestar. We are talking about the overall same length, but it is a much thinner pen. That's what I have to say about it. About the writing experience, it is a thinner pen, as I told you, but it is very comfortable to hold. I really think it is possible to write for a long time with this pen. Also, the posting of the pen is quite nice because it posts quite deep, and so it makes a long pen but not too long. It is pleasant to use posted, but you can use it unposted if you prefer. It is not a short pen, it's just a slimmer one. And now that we've seen the pen that has a very nice look to it, let's just ask ourselves, how much does it cost? And it costs less than €2 on eBay. So it is a very low price. You can buy these pens very cheaply, and a lot of them, and maybe buy them and give them to friends just to spread the use of fountain pens. This is all for the overall review of the pen. Let's go for the writing sample. And so here we have our pen and our paper, and let's write. And as I told you, I will not post because I don't really need to do it. This is the Jinhao 911 still, and this has something that I think it is an extra fine nib or a fine. It's hard to decide with these Chinese pens. Then we have the paper that is our usual Rhodia. Sorry, I rotated the nib a little. Rhodia dot pad, and we have as the ink the Montegrappa black. And so, what is my experience with this pen? I think the nib of this pen is very fine, which makes it like an extra fine, and as it has a little feedback, but it is not scratchy, it's just a little feedbacky. And I have to say, it doesn't have a very big sweet spot, so you have to use the pen a little until you find the place where it writes better, and where it writes better is also where it is a little wider. Once you found this place, if you hold the pen always in the same position, it becomes quite a pleasant writer, but not if you like pens without any feedback, but it writes quite well. Also, the wetness of the nib, the performance, it performs quite well. It puts a nice amount of ink on the paper, and you see, I would say this is quite wet for such a fine nib. About the line variation, you can see without no pressure, sometimes you get some just for the angle you're using the pen. If you use some pressure, you put more ink on the paper, but not really some line variation. Just the way the nib is cut, you can get these parts here are a little finer than this one. I just think so, but maybe it's just me. If you try to write upside down, you can, but the pen becomes scratchy. But it will write if you need to do some really small writing. It will perform, but scratchy. And if you see how smaller you can make your line. So, what do I have to say about this pen? This pen has no flexibility in the nib. It's not supposed to. Usually the hooded pens are not flexible. We can't forget some Aurora pens, but usually they aren't flexible. The pen has a narrow sweet spot, but where it is in that sweet spot, it's quite smooth for such a fine nib. And another thing that I have to say is, which is the biggest fault that I found on this pen, is when you leave the pen kept for one whole day or a day and a half or 2 days, it becomes dry, the nib. The ink doesn't dry out, but the nib becomes dry, and it's very hard to start again. And what I saw that I had to do is to open the pen and then rotate a little bit the converter to prime the feed, and then it will write again for as long as you want. But if you leave the pen kept for some time, it will not write at first time. Also, another thing that I found, because it is a hooded nib and it is so fine, and the pen is also so fine, sometimes it's difficult for you to be sure that you're putting the pen in the right position on the paper. I don't find this a problem with the Parker 51, but with this pen I think it's not that easy to do, and sometimes I hit the paper like this. It's my fault, I know, but I think there are pens that promote this happening more than others. But when you do it the right way, it writes really well. So what I have to say, first, thank you, Luís, for giving me the pen. That's the first thing. The other thing, we cannot forget that this pen costs only €2. So if you want to get more people working with fountain pens, give them a pen like this. If they don't leave the pen to dry out for some days, I think they will get accustomed to this pen, to writing with fountain pens, and they will start trying more. It's less than €2, so I think this is really a nice pen to have for just to give to someone that is really interested in starting a fountain pens. Very resistant, made of metal, it will not break easily, so it writes well. So what do you want more? If it has some defaults like drying of the nib inside the cap, we cannot forget that it's only a €2 pen that already comes with a converter, so we can't expect more. We can't this is what it is. A very nice pen, very user pen. You can take it anywhere. I think this is a great school pen, not for small children, but for students that are older. So I hope you like the pen. I hope you like these suggestions. I'll leave a link below for you to get the pen if you want. And this is all. Thank you for watching the video. Please don't forget to subscribe and keep coming back for more videos. See you. Bye.